Hello guys! In about 20 minutes I will be attending MIT MBA session. They will tell us about admissions requirements, we'll meet alumni, and I think it's going to be very useful. MIT Business School is one of the top 3 business schools in the United States, or at least top 5, and it's really great, really prestige. So I really hope you're going to watch this video up to the very end, and I really hope you're going to apply for MIT MBA after this video. We came a little earlier and it's time for networking. Actually, we're the first, so nobody's here yet. But they got some refreshments for us back there and some cakes. And I wanted to tell you that networking is actually a big part of any MBA program, and especially in this, big names like Stanford, Harvard, MIT, they would pay a lot of attention to having a diverse background of their students. So the most overrepresented group is an Indian male with IT background, and it's really competitive. So there are many Indian IT males applying for MBA, and it's going to be easier for a girl from Kazakhstan, for example, to get accepted because this community is not overrepresented and they have slots for these girls. But Asian cultures are really overrepresented. Probably if you're from Asia, you know that. So just be sure that if you are from this community that is overrepresented, that your application is strong in other points, like you have high GMAT, so try to score as much as you can. I know you're doing that still, but anyway, you have to score more than 700, and I think the average for MIT is 730 and TOEFL is around 100. And yes, it's very competitive. It's like 5% acceptance rate, but I'm going to tell you more after the session because this is just what I've learned from their website. Okay guys, we just finished the lecture and it was really interesting because they had 5 people who actually graduated from MIT. They came here and shared their experience, and it was really interesting to hear their stories because many of them came from financial backgrounds, consulting, whatever, and they went and got MBA in order to change their career. Actually 85% of people who go to MIT MBA, they want to change careers, and those guys, they actually went started their own companies and are in the process of getting acquired. Some others went to work for bigger companies and became managers. So it's very interesting to hear real student stories. And I wanted to tell you more about the admissions process because probably you know that MIT Sloan is one of the best schools for MBA in the USA. And it's very competitive. It's like Stanford, Harvard. I think 5% or 7% of all people who apply get accepted, and this year they actually waived TOEFL, which is amazing. So you just have one exam to pass, which is GMAT or GRE. The average GMAT last year was 716, and you have to be in that 30% range, so you have to be 670 or more in order to get in order to be competitive, because of course people who have 550 also get in, but they have to have a very competitive case. The second thing you have to pay attention to is letters of recommendation. I know in many countries professors or managers don't speak English, and this is a case for Russian-speaking countries because people whom I asked to provide recommendation, they told me just write it yourself and we'll sign and send it, which is wrong because it has to be genuine. People have to share their experience of communicating with you, and this has to come from their heart, not from you. So try and pick right recommenders. The best person who can recommend you is your manager, is your direct manager, who can tell about how you manage with tough situations, how you behave yourself in working with your colleagues. So do that. And the second recommender could be your professor from your previous education. And also, there is no prerequisite. You just have to have a bachelor's degree. You don't have to be like master in something or like 3 years of work experience. So people who just finished bachelor's, they can also apply for MIT MBA. Another thing you should know is that they actually waived essays as well, so you don't have to write any essay. You just have to provide CV and cover letter, and there is no topic for cover letter. Just they want us to emphasize what we've achieved, how we distinct ourselves from other people, show your leadership skills, and this is what your cover letter is about. And another thing you should remember is that interview is required for everyone, and you will be interviewed by the admissions committee. As you know, probably Stanford and Harvard send their alumni to interview you. Here you would be interviewed by the admissions committee themselves, and there would actually be an essay that you would have to prepare for the interview. But before you're invited, don't worry. They also told us an interesting thing about rounds of application. So it's considered that you have to apply in the round 1 because the chances are better, the class is not filled yet. But actually Julia, who is, I think she's deputy head of admissions in MIT Business School, she said apply when you're ready. Because if you apply in the round 1, the only prerogative that you have is if you're waitlisted, you will be considered in round 2 and round 3 as well. But otherwise it doesn't give you any advantages compared to people who apply in round 2 and round 3. So if you think that you might take those extra 3 to 4 months to improve your GMAT, just go out and do that. Some people ask about financial aid, and this is a really important aspect because MBA is not a cheap thing. So what Julia told me is that you can apply if you don't have money at all, so you just apply. But then after you get admitted, you will have to work with financial aid office, and they would tell you what options you have. But mostly people end up taking loans from MIT, and it's very easy for international students as well. And don't be scared of taking a loan because 95% of MIT graduates actually get a job within 3 months after graduating, and you know the salaries after MIT MBA are around, I don't know, 100K a year, so you would be able to repay that debt. And many people stay in the US after graduating, so the majority of your network will be in the United States, because some people think, oh, I'll have network all over the world. But we had Russian graduates here, and they said they didn't have a lot of network back in Russia, but back in the United States they had a lot of connections and a lot of people who could actually help them. And also all over the world, like financial centers like London, Singapore, you would have a lot of people who studied with you or studied in MIT earlier than you, and they would still be your network. You will still be able to reach out to them and ask for help if you need it. I asked Julia about how they weight GMAT, how they weight recommendation letters, what plays the most important role, and she said it's actually a very holistic approach. So if you have low GMAT, then you can compensate it by higher GPA and vice versa. So actually pay attention to every detail of your application, and don't be scared if your GPA is too low, then just go on and pass that GMAT and score a high score. Just to give you some numbers, every year, well, last year, 1,600 people applied. 20 to 30% got invited to the interview, and then they only accept 350 people. So it's a very competitive school, and if you're applying for it, I would advise to apply to other 4 to 5 schools. On average, people apply to 6 schools in order to get in, and be sure that you're going to the USA to study within the next few months. And I also went through that process. I got accepted to top American universities with full financial aid, and I'm happy to share my experience. And if you would, if you want to ask me questions, how I did it, what exams I passed, how application process works, please feel free to click the link below and schedule a consultation with me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was interesting, and I hope you will be applying to MBA. And if you do, please share your experience of applying with me, or maybe share university you will be applying to in the comments. Please subscribe to this channel, and thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your likes. Bye bye.